Hello, it's Friday, January 12th, and this is my 2 cents. Today, one of the dominoes has fallen in the Uranium 1 investigation that was restarted by Jeff Sessions in December. A guy named Mark Lambert, Mark Lambert, was indicted today on one count of conspiracy to commit foreign corrupt practice and 7 counts of violating the Foreign Corrupt Practice Act, 2 counts of wire fraud, and 1 count of money laundering. I don't know what all that means, but it sounds really bad. In fact, I did look it up. I looked up what FCPA is, and that's it's basically a bribery, an anti-bribery provision in the law to go after companies and so forth that are involved in the practice of bribing and that kind of thing. This guy's a CEO of some kind of a transportation type company or transporting uranium, or I guess that's what he does. He's a transportation guy, and he's involved in this somehow in bribery. 7 counts of this violating this act. My guess, he's the first small player that they're going to lean on to get to the top, and this, believe me, will lead all the way to the top. This is where all of this bull that we've had to put up with for the past year and a half with this Trump-Russia collusion, this all started with Uranium 1. And it's all going to come crumbling down. I think I mentioned it last month, that the first of the year, things are going to start moving. And that's exactly what's starting to happen. All the dominoes are going to start falling. This is just the very first one. This Uranium 1 thing stinks from the very beginning, and the Obama administration was certain that Hillary would win this thing. And when she didn't, they panicked because they knew that not only this Uranium 1 deal, but a bunch of other stuff that he did to further his legacy, I guess. His legacy was going to be to soften the relations with Iran, of all places. And that, so everything he did, he didn't care if it was legal or not, was with his eye on the Iran deal. This Iran deal, this $1.5 billion he gave Iran, and this has all been, he had this in the works for years, trying to get this deal through, and anything that got in the way of that, he made sure didn't get in the way. You talk about the Uranium 1, the sale of this uranium, the Russian reset. The Russian reset was made to make it look like the Russians are good guys, and we're buddies with them, and that's why we can sell them this uranium, and it's no big deal because they're our friends now. And well, that all went out the door when they invaded what was it, Crimea or Ukraine, one of them countries they invaded back in 2010 or whatever year it was, 2009. So now he's got egg on his face, from this Russian reset. Obviously, nothing's been reset. Russia's going to do what they want to do. The Hezbollah, the DEA had their hooks into Hezbollah and was about ready to take them down. The Obama administration put the halt on that because it was Hezbollah funded by Iran, and he didn't want to hurt his Iran deal. This is all going to come out. It's all connected. All of these, what the left calls right-wing conspiracies and, fabrications from the right. Okay, I understand they want to say that, that's all they got, and that's fine, but it's now being investigated and fairly, and it's all going to come out now. They can't hide it anymore. Trump won. They didn't want him to win because he was an outsider. He wasn't a part of the establishment. He wasn't a part of the good old boy network. Okay, Republican or Democrat, he wasn't one of them, and he's beholden to nobody. And when he got in, the apple cart was upset, and now the dominoes are going to start falling. You're going to see more. I mean, like I said, this whole thing is connected. The Trump-Russia collusion, the Uranium One, the email scandal, I would even say Wasserman Schultz, Amwan guy from Pakistan that tried to flee the country with money. All of those scandals are interconnected, and it all goes straight to Hillary Clinton's evil criminal empire. Okay, and it's all going to come crumbling down now because she didn't win. And I mean, did anybody ever wonder why? I said this once before in a video. No reputable Democrat ran against her because they all knew she had it in the bag. They all knew that she already had the super delegates. And does anybody ever wonder why Obama campaigned so hard for her and was so, I mean, just he campaigned harder for her than any president has campaigned for a candidate ever. And when she lost, it was devastating because they knew that all this stuff, if they didn't do something, could come out. Now, something that you guys, I mean, if you want to, I'm not smart enough to tie it all together coherently. I've read it. I've listened to some podcasts. But if you're interested, Dan Bongino is the guy's name. Bongino at Bongino.com. Go to Bongino.com, Bongino.com. He has podcasts every day. And listen to episodes 628, 629, 630, and 631. And I'll put it in. I'll put a link in the Facebook page and at the bottom of the YouTube page. But go to that website, download those podcasts, and listen to it. Bongino, lays it all out in a pretty good, coherent order that's easily understandable. Exactly how deep and how widespread and why all this kind of stuff, why they are after Trump, why they started this Russia-Trump collusion bullshit. And it's because this stuff all ties together and the players are all the same. You'll see that, and I said this before in a video, you'll see all these players are the same names. Bob Mueller, McCabe, Rosenstein. These guys are all connected to this and other various aspects of everything that's going on. The investigation into Hillary, this is dirty, dirty, dirty politics and dirty, dirty absolute mafia type stuff. But this Uranium One thing is like I said, just starting. There's an undercover there was an informant within the Uranium One deal. He was under for 4 years providing the FBI information, and then they gagged him at the end of that. They gagged him, put a gag on him, a non-disclosure agreement. He couldn't tell anybody anything, and now he's been allowed to talk, and he's supposed to testify here in the next week or two. And he's got all this information. He's got tapes. He's got documents. He's got all kinds of stuff that's going to show this bribery, and this could be part of what this Mark Lambert was arrested with. I mean, maybe some of the information he's got has already been presented to the Attorney General, but this guy will end up being, you know, for lack of a better term, the deep throat, I guess, of Watergate. This guy here's got all the secrets from the Uranium One, and he's going to end up being a hero because he's going to expose the dirty dealings that went on that the entire nation was left in the dark about. So uh, keep your eye on it. It's coming. The whole thing is going to blow up. It's beginning to blow up now. The first domino has fallen. When they get this guy to flip and they move on up the chain is going to end up all the way at the top. It could go. It's going to get to Hillary Clinton, I believe, and it could certainly get as high as Barack Obama. Uh, you know, when you get that high, I doubt those guys ever do any time. But the exposure of it should be enough, you know, to destroy them to the point where, you know, this kind of thing isn't attempted again. Washington D.C. is broken and has been for 30 years. You know, in my opinion, ever since the Clintons got their claws into power. You know, they've dirtied it up so bad and made it so political and so corrupt that it's going to take a long time for it to be clean. Be clean. The swamp needs to be cleaned out, and hopefully we'll get it clean. You know, of course, they go after Trump for any and everything, and that's why. That's why the left goes after him. As a lot of these people are people that know that their house of cards is tumbling down, and they have for a year done everything in their power to get rid of Trump, get him out of office because they don't want all this stuff coming out. But it's going to come out. He's not going anywhere, folks. He's not going anywhere. He's got more intestinal fortitude than any human being, because I don't know how he puts up with the lies that are told about him on a daily basis from the left, and it's ridiculous. Now, the latest one, and I don't know if it's a lie or not. Maybe he said it. You know, he said something in this Daca meeting, this immigration reform meeting they had, with bipartisan meeting. Apparently, Dick Durbin, who needs to go, folks. We need to get rid of Dick Durbin. He's worthless. He's the worst senator. Illinois, the entire state is full of corrupt politicians, and Dick Durbin's one of them. But he come out of one of these meetings, you know, closed door meeting with Trump and several of Congress members of Congress, and he said, you know, Trump was vulgar in there. He said, you know, why are we taking these people from these shithole countries? You know, and he was referring to apparently Haiti and some of these African countries that are complete chaos. You know, no leadership, no, absolutely warlords. I mean, yeah, just complete chaos. And, you know, of course, the Democrats want to let all these people in our country. I don't. And I'm going to tell you, if he said it, I don't know if he did, you know, because there's other people that were in that meeting that said they never heard him say that, you know, and Dick Durbin could be lying about the whole thing. I don't care if he said it or not. It's a fact. Those countries are shitholes. That's what they are. They're shitholes. You know, so, you know, Trump's going to tell you like it is. You know, it's a shithole. And these people act like they've never said something like that in their lives. You know, about a neighborhood or a city or a place they've been, or, you know, whatever. You know, if they think those countries are, you know, bastions of great humanity, why don't they go down there on vacation, Dick Durbin? How about take a Haiti vacation? You know, why don't you go on over there to some of them countries over there in Africa that are led by warlords, and, you know, Somalia, places like that. Why don't you go on over there and, you know, take a vacation? You can take your wife and kids and, you know, have a good old time. No, they're shitholes. That's what they are. Okay? We don't want them people coming in our country. We want merit-based immigration. We don't want people flowing into this country. No, they have no skills, no chance at assimilation, and becoming a strain on our social system, which is already out of control. Uh, this needs to be this immigration, this DACA thing. They call them kids, and that drives me absolutely nuts. These aren't kids; they're adults now. Okay, uh, they want the liberal wants these DACA people to be given amnesty and made citizens, and and their parents given people who brought them over here illegally to begin with, giving them 3-year renewable status where they can stay in the country. Come on. These people are here illegally. They came here, they broke the law. And I know those kids didn't, when they were kids, they were brought over by their parents. They didn't have no choice. They didn't have any choice. I understand that. And I have a certain amount of sympathy for them, a little bit. And I'm willing to work with them. But don't think we're going to do something without getting what we need to do. We need to get immigration reformed. It needs to be reformed. We need chain migration. It needs to be eliminated. This diversity lottery system for immigration needs to be eliminated. We need to cut levels of legal immigration down and make it a merit-based immigration system. We need a border wall. We need to secure our border. And that all needs to be guaranteed, ironclad guaranteed in this whatever deal they make with these DACA people. We don't just give them the amnesty and then say, oh, we'll deal with that other thing later. No, because they've done that before. They screwed this up many times before because they were lied to, promised, and lied to. Not this time. We get what we have to get first. Then we'll give what these DACA people need. That's how it's got to be. I hope Donald Trump doesn't back down on that. I mean, I'm a little bit flexible. We can work, a little bit, but not much. We need those things. Those things have to be done because this country is we're losing what it is we had. This country is changing and getting poorer and poorer with less people that are with no skills, no jobs, no education, flowing into this country illegally, working. E-Verify, that's another thing. E-Verify, that's another thing that's a must. They have to, we can't allow companies to hire these people under the table and pay them, half of what they should be paid or what they should be paying a citizen to work. No. And I understand they have some jobs. They say there's jobs Americans won't do. Well, you know what? I don't buy that necessarily. Americans won't do it for, $2 an hour. No. But there's jobs, with fair pay, Americans will do. So those things need to be taken care of before anything with these DACA people is settled. So, and one more thing I wanted to talk about before I close up here real quick is taxes. I want everybody to enjoy their tax cut. Look for it in February. You're still going to have these liberal idiots that are going to try and tell you that it's not a tax cut, but it is. And you'll see it in your paycheck in February. Supposedly the scales will be adjusted by then and should be reflected in your check in February. So that's all I've got for today. I'll put that link in the Facebook page for the Bongino, but I highly recommend you look at those or listen to those podcasts if you're really interested in just how all this corruption ties together. That's all I got for today. That's my 2 cents, and I will see you next week.